Peace and shalom, Israel. Before we start the lesson, hit the notification button because we upload lessons every week and I don't want you to miss a single one of them. Like, comment, subscribe, and if there's a topic you would like for us to cover, we'll see what we can do. So until next time, cue the music. This is the Fountain of Israel Bible Studies program, and as always, it's an honor for me to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. I'm getting a little tongue-tied there, but I appreciate you guys joining us on this holy Shabbat. Now, today's lesson is entitled Family Conduct and the Three Components of Marriage and Divorce. Family Conduct and the Three Components of Marriage and Divorce. Now, obviously, when one gets married, the Most High wants us to be married. God wants us to be married, and we're supposed to stay together. And we know sometimes life happens, certain things happen, certain conditions warrant divorce. So we're going to look at, all those things there. But we're going to look at some of the things in between, the thing between marriage and the end of your life. Okay, so we want to look at some of those things in between and get from the scriptures. And first and foremost, the Father, the Most High, says that he is married unto Israel. Okay, so we know that Israel has that relationship with God and that he equates that as a family. He used family terms, I was a husband and we are his children and things like that. But we're going to look at it from the marriage angle, if you will. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to... First place I want to go to is Jeremiah. Okay, first place I want to go to is Jeremiah. No, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go to the beginning. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2. Okay, so we're talking about a marriage. Okay, so we're going to start at Genesis. So we're going to go with the first marriage. Okay, let's start there first. Genesis 2:24, which reads, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh." Okay, akkad, one flesh. All right, they're going to be one flesh. They're joined together. They operate as one. They don't work against each other. Okay, that's the first thing. When two people come together, when man and woman come together, the woman assimilates into the man. Like Eve was taken out of man. She assimilates and y'all operate as one unit. Okay, that's what it means by one. They're operating as one. Okay. So let's go ahead and look at Jeremiah 31, which is where I was going to go a second ago. But let's look at Jeremiah 31. And we need to look at something here, okay, of how he equates Israel. Okay, so let's look at this. Jeremiah 31:32, which reads, "Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break." Now watch this. "Although I was an husband unto them, said the Lord." Look right there from the jump. And we got to go back to Exodus, and we will. But we got to go back onto Exodus where he said, hey, I got married to them. When I drew them out, okay, after this whole Exodus account, okay, I was a husband unto them. Those are those family terms, those familial terms that he's using. So he's definitely was a husband unto Israel. Okay, let's look at it again over here in Isaiah 54:5. Okay, look at what he says in 54:5. He said, "For thy maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth shall he be called." Okay, what it says, for thy maker is thy husband. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. He was a husband unto Israel. So we understand that he gives us examples, he sets the example for us to follow. Okay, he sets the example for all of us to follow. He sets the example for man to be the husband unto his wife, okay, to cover her, and what? He covers us. The same thing. We know the protocol. The father covers the Messiah, okay, and then Christ covers the husband covers the wife covers the kids, so on and so forth. Okay, so we have to remember that he equates that to family. Okay, so now he said when he brought them out of Israel, he was a husband unto them. But let's go back to the beginning to see where this marriage took place. If you go to Exodus chapter 19, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 1. Exodus 19 and verse 1, which reads, in the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness. And there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called up unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, you have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure to me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Verse 7. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together. Okay, he gave the terms. And said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the word of the people unto the Lord. So he gave the vows. He said, okay, if you do this, if you listen and obey my voice, if you do what I tell you, you'll be a peculiar people. I'll be a husband unto you. Okay? Basically, that's what we're talking about when we look over in Jeremiah and Isaiah. He was a husband. So he give the terms of the deal. Okay, here Israel, here is the deal. All right? Told Moses. Moses told the people. The people answered and said, basically like in a marriage, I do. Okay? So that's what he said. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. Okay, so now we understand. Now remember, I want to make this abundantly clear. I did it in some of the other platforms, other groups and stuff like that. I answered it. So I want to make it abundantly clear. What's a marriage? What are those 3 components that I've mentioned in the title? Those 3 components. Okay, there's agreement, witness, and consummation. Okay, agreement, witness, and consummation. And that's what we're going to look at. Those are the things that make a marriage. Everything else is extra. Ceremony is extra. Rings and a big party and a big feast and all that is extra. You can put that in there, but those are extra. Okay, so let's look at the blood and the agreement, because we already got the witness. We already got the agreement. They already agreed. They agreed. So now we saw the terms, we saw the agreement, we got the witness because, hey, Moses told the Lord what Israel said, and Israel went to tell Moses, and Moses went to tell the Lord, and went back and forth. He was kind of a mediator in between that, okay? We know he was a mediator there, okay, the intercessor. Okay, so let's look at the blood and the agreement. Go to Exodus 24. Then I want to show you guys something. Exodus 24, and if I start at verse 6, because I said witness, agreement, and consummation. Now, here's the consummation between God and Israel. Exodus 24 and 6 reads this, and Moses took half of the blood, and put it in the basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar, and he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people. And what did they say? And they said, all that the Lord has said we will do, and be obedient. I do, at a wedding, right? That's what happened. I do. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord had made with you concerning all these words. There goes your consummation. And so he's just showing us exactly how it goes. He gave them the terms. Everybody is a witness. And now you have the blood. That's why he says, I was a husband unto you. What happens carnally? Okay, a man goes to a woman, okay, and he makes an agreement with her. But let me go ahead and pause for a second, because I know I got some Hebrew brothers out there going to say, no, he needs to go to the father. Yes. If everything is in order like it's supposed to be, then the young man goes to the father and they make an agreement. Okay, agreement. All right. And if in the case of a virgin, he pays the dowry price. They strike up a deal. Okay. And everybody is witness to that deal. And last but not least, the young man and the young woman go consummate. There's your blood. That's all three elements right there, if done properly. Now, sometimes we get out of order. We do it in different orders, or we leave things half undone. And that's where the problems come in. That's where all our problems come in, when we go away from what the Most High wants us to do and how he wants us to do. That's where all your problems come from. That's the source of your problems. Okay, so that's how that goes. Now let's look at it play out. Okay, now I showed you guys, witness and agreement and consummation. I showed you guys that, okay, with Israel and with the Most High, okay, with the Father. Well, I showed you this, okay, I showed you this, all right. Now, I'm also going to just say, the Most High, the God that we have known, obviously, because, many of us Messianics believe that, it was Christ in the Old Testament. So I don't want to switch from the Father and the Son in the Old Testament and all that. Okay, so let me just put that out there. Okay, so and the reason a lot of Messianics believe that Christ is the God of the Old Testament is because we know no one has seen the Father and all that. So it's Christ of the Old Testament. And besides, you're not going to have the Father married to Israel at first, then he gets a divorce, and then in the New Testament the Son marries to Israel, the same bride. Can't do that. That's abominable. So there's a reason why people say Christ, is the God of the Old Testament. Whether you believe it or not, I'm just explaining to you. Okay, so let's look at it in a practical sense. That was a quick aside. So, because I know I digress. Let's get back into it. Isaac and Rebekah. I want you to look at Genesis chapter 24. I want to look at a couple things, okay? Witness, agreement, consummation. I want you to look at this. Genesis 24, I'm going to start at verse 50, okay? It said, Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing proceeded from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife. And the Lord had spoken, as the Lord had spoken. And it came to pass, when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth. And the servant brought forth what? Jewels of silver, jewels of gold, and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things. Okay, so he was just bestowing gifts. Okay, basically like paying the bride price. Okay, bestowing them with gifts. Okay, then I'm going to drop down to verse 58. And they called Rebekah, and she said, and said unto her, Will thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. So you have agreement again. You have agreement. She said, yeah, I'll go. She's about to go get married. She's about to go meet her husband, okay? Or soon to be husband, I should say. Okay? So let's drop down to verse 64, which reads, And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, because her and the servant was on the way to go meet Isaac. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off her camel. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servants had said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself. A little modesty there, okay? So there is a such thing as modesty, okay? And she covered herself. She took a veil that typically goes over her head. Okay, and the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. So he just told what had happened. Now watch this. And Isaac, okay, brought her into his mother Sarah's tent. Okay, so he brought to where, his mother's tent, and took Rebekah. So they consummated, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death, because his mother was already, dead. In chapter 23 of Genesis, his mother had already died. She was like 127 years old. She had him when she was like 90. Okay, so you have your witness, you have your agreement, because everybody who's making the agreement is also a witness. That's who's doing the talking. So they made the arrangement, made the agreement, you have the witness, and then you see the consummation. This is what happens when it's done correctly. I know today we don't do that. We don't do it correct. We do it all out of order. We don't, which is sad commentary on Israel, because we're supposed to have a higher standard. We're supposed to do it a little bit better than the other nations. We're supposed to have a high standard, but we fall short all the time. Okay, but that's how it goes. That's marriage. Witness, agreement, and consummation. And now I'm going to show you something, because I say, well, what happened if they're taken, or by force or anything like that. It's still, there's still an order, there's still a protocol, there's still something that needs to be done the right way. Okay, it still needs to be done the right way. So let's go to Deuteronomy 22. Okay, Deuteronomy 22, and I'm going to pick it up at verse 22. Okay, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 22, which reads, if a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, this is a married woman, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shall thy put away evil from Israel, because it is an evil thing for you to go messing around with another man's wife, or married people to go mess around with each other. Okay, you have a married woman, that dude, keep it pushing. You don't deal with a married woman. It's just that simple. Okay, that's the standard. Okay, no ifs, ands, buts about it. If it's a married woman, fellas, you need to get out of her face. Woman, you need to go over to your husband. Okay, because you don't want confusion. Okay, you don't want any kind of misunderstanding. You don't want no kind of confusion there. So be separate. 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed or engaged or intended, okay, unto a husband, and a man finds her in the city and lies with her, so they're cheating again, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die. I wonder. Okay. 1, the damsel, because she cried not, being in the city means she did not, she didn't say, hey, get out of here. I don't want this. Get away from me. She didn't cry out. She didn't resist. Put it like that. And the man, because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. That's not cool. Israel, you cannot do that. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. So the Most High calls it evil. That is evil. You cannot do that. His relationship with us is a microcosm. Our relationship is a microcosm of his relationship with us. Okay. That's what it is. You cannot defile another man's wife. Okay, bottom line. Okay, you can't serve two masters. You can't have another god. Okay, it's defilement. But unto the okay, and it says, put away evil from among you. And then 25, it says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. Okay, she resisted. She said, no. He took her by force. Guess what? He dies, not her. The sin is not on her. She's fine. Okay, so don't go, she's all defiled. Nope, no, she's not. Okay, because if you read 26, said, but unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, so even so is this matter. She did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong. So you do nothing to her. No sin is laid on her. Period. Okay. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. That's why she's fine. Okay. She's fine. She's clean. She's fine. She didn't do anything wrong. Okay, because nobody was there to save her. She's innocent. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, okay, now she's not married, okay, she's not married, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, okay, people find out, then what has to happen? Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he has humbled her, and he may not put her away all his days. From the womb to the tomb, the man's supposed to take care of the woman all the way. You humble her, guess you pay. Hey, you got to take responsibility. Okay, you can't just we can't do this whole willy-nilly thing. You can't do this willy-nilly thing. Okay, you will have to answer for that in the next life. You're going to have to answer for that. You can't do this whole willy-nilly thing. We're not even done. Let's look at Genesis. Just go up a little bit. Go to Genesis 34. Okay, I want to look at Dinah. Okay, Jacob's daughter there. Okay, Dinah. All right. You You can't just do what you want to do, because it'll be some stiff consequences. Chapter 34. We'll pick it up at verse 1. Genesis chapter 34, verse 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Havite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her, and he lay with her and defiled her. Okay, so he messed up, because guess what? He was supposed to go to the father. He's supposed to go to the father. Hey, I would like to have your daughter's hand in marriage. Trying to get an agreement. That's all you're supposed to do. Trying to get an agreement. But no, he wanted to just do what he wanted to do. Okay, that's a problem. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel and spake kindly unto the damsel. Okay, yeah, he was nice. He cared about her, but you did it out of order. You did it out of order. You're supposed to go to her father. Go to her father. Hey, I love your daughter. I would like for her to be my wife. But no, you don't want to do that. You want to do your way. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Because in your father's house, you're supposed to be a virgin until he gives you to your husband. That's why. And Jacob had heard that he defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they come. He said, I'm not going to say anything right now. And then and Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob to commune with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he has wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which things ought not to be done. Cannot do that, brothers and sisters. You cannot. It's just like if you slept. It's just like if you slept with your neighbor's wife. You can't just go to a man's daughter and be with his daughter and not talk to him first about that. You cannot do that. I'm just trying to make it painfully clear to you in Israel. You guys, you girls out there listening, if you do it in order, you have less problems. You're asking for it if you do it out of order. Verse 13. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. Okay, so basically, if you read the rest of the story, you say, okay, yeah, we'll make a deal. That's cool. You can have our daughter. That's okay. But here's the thing. We can't have, uncircumcised men or whatever. That's not how we rock in Israel. Everybody has to be circumcised. So we can't, but if y'all do that, then we got a deal. It's cool. Bygones be bygones. She'll be your wife and all this other stuff. But we know the rest of the story. That's not how it went down. Okay. Verse 27. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. Okay, so while everybody got circumcised, the dude who slept with Dinah and all that, he got circumcised, and everybody in that camp, everybody in that city all the men got circumcised. But you have to have a time of healing, and during that painful time right there, the brothers, Jacob's sons, went in there and slaughtered up everybody, because because you went out of order. They defiled their sister, and that was it. It was a wrap from there. Because that is folly in Israel. You cannot do that. All y'all have to do is exercise a little bit of patience, a little bit of self-control, have a little bit of respect, go to the father, show some respect, and ask, hey, I would like to have your daughter's hand in marriage. All you have to do. He may say yes, he may say no, but all you have to do, because as a father, what is your job? Your job is to find someone suitable for your daughter. Dude comes up and he's a loser. He doesn't do anything. He just plays video games all day. He has no plans for the future. He don't want to do nothing. Then say no. Say no, you're not going to take, I know you're not going to take care of my daughter, so no. You have no plan, no provisions. You prepared nothing. You have nothing going for you in the future. No, the answer is no. We got to keep that in mind. Go to Exodus 22, verse 16. Exodus 22, verse 16 says this. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. Now you have to take responsibility. And guess what? The power is still in the father's hand. Because if you look at verse 17, okay, Exodus 22 verse 17, it says, if her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. So you can't say that sex and sex alone equals marriage, because in this case right here, you did humble the young lady. Okay, she's not betrothed. You did lie with her. But you went to the father and say, hey, look, I was with your daughter and, I just want to make her my wife. And the father can say, nope, it does not stand. The father does not bless that covenant. It does not stand. Now, the reverse is true, too, in a vow. She runs out, does her own thing, and she said, hey, I'm married, whatever. And then the day that the daughter says, I made a vow with this dude or whatever, and he don't say nothing, he's mad. Now, let's say he's just mad, okay? He's just mad. He's like, man, I don't want nothing to do with it. You let it stand. You have to disavow it. You let it stand. You close your mouth like, whatever, man. She ran out there. She ain't going to listen to what I'm saying or whatever. Hey, man, do what you want to do. You let her vow stand. So it works in reverse too. Okay? So now let's look a little bit at some family conduct there. Man, wife, because that's where family starts, right? Mom, dad, it starts there. So let's look at a little bit of family conduct. Now, Deuteronomy 24, and this one I'm going to just do one verse. Deuteronomy 24, verse 5 says this: when a man has taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war, neither shall he be charged with any business, like conducting a business and stuff like that. But he shall be free at home 1 year, and shall cheer up his wife, which he has taken. Okay, so that first year, hey, don't go out to war, don't go out and do business and stuff. Now, it's totally backwards, totally backwards now. You get married, go on a little honeymoon, and boom, you guys get back home, and he's off running, he's working. Okay, so I know it's a little bit different now. But that first year of their marriage, they're supposed to be spending a whole lot of time together cheering up his wife. Cheering up his wife, making her happy. That first year. The first year you get married, he's supposed to just cheer her up. Which is why, men, you should be preparing for your wife so you can do this. So you can do this. We're going to take it easy. We're going to get married. We're going to take it easy for a year, whatever. I'm not going to do a whole lot of nothing besides just cheer you up. That's what you should do. I'm just giving you scripture. So yeah, cheering her up, making her feel like, hey, you're more, hey, I'm going to love you forever. It's going to be me and you. This is it, Going to love you forever. And that doesn't matter. You got one wife, two wife, three, or whatever it is. But, you spend that time, you giving her enough time to get settled in and to assimilate to this new life with you, young man. That's what you do. You're giving her time, okay? Let's go to the New Testament, 1 Peter. Give her some time. 1 Peter. Both of you some time. You get to know her, she get to know you, you assimilate, you go over your plans, what you're going to do, and now, hey, your family. Your family. Start planning. 1 Peter. Go to chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 reads, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives, or the lifestyle, or the actions, or the behaviors of the wives. You can win over, wives out there, you can win over your husband by your actions, by your lifestyle, by your behavior. Not by the nagging, not by the complaining, not by the berating, but by your chaste conversation, by your behavior. By your behavior. When I wasn't in the word very much at all, I told you a long time ago, my wife, she would be reading the scriptures over and over and over, just reading the scriptures, doing her thing, listening to, inspirational music and stuff like that, and really getting her into this place of worship. And I'm just looking. And after a while, I was like, man, I want some of what she has. She's reading this Bible and enjoying it and having a good time. This was years ago, but still, it was over 10 years ago. But that I was won over just because she was doing what she's doing. Hey, you want to go to church or whatever? I'm like, nah, I'm gonna sit here. I'm just gonna chill. But over time, I was like, man, I feel like I'm missing out on something. Never nagging me. She never nagged me, not once. And now I study. Now I study the Bible. Now I teach it and I study it. Never nagged me once. Just kept doing, kept going. And guess what? Now I'm teaching her. Maybe won by the conversations of the wild. Verse 2. While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Now these women, they have this behavior, and that's their power. That's their power. Okay, their conversation, their behavior, they win you over by doing, not by what they say. Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and wearing of gold or putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart in that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God a great price. Now, loves a woman who has a meek and quiet spirit. These are not my words. So if I just simply say, the Lord, he loves a meek and quiet spirit, and it's a great price to him, he values that, then it's not my words. He values that, okay? Verse 5, for after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husbands. Being in subjection, because of how you do it. Because you got a lot of sisters out there, and they're just like, what do they say? They say they got like a Nabal or something. They got this, well, what if my husband, if he's just not worth being, submitted, it's not worth submitting myself unto this guy. It's not worth it. He's not doing what he should be doing. Sisters, that starts, look, I don't want to sound insensitive, but it starts from the beginning. You have to pick the right husband. Now, I understand it should be the father and all that, but look, in the world we live in, a lot of women, they don't even have relationships with their father, okay? They don't stay virgins in their father's house. They go out and they do their own thing, okay? So you short circuit the whole process right there. But now, if you're in a position where you don't have that head, you don't have a pastor that's above you, which you should, or you don't have your father, who's your head, you should. You're just out on your own, basically uncovered. Then when you are trying to get covered, you need to be you have to do your due diligence on the guy. You have to make sure this guy is worth being submitted to. You need to pick a guy who you don't mind being in subjection to your husband. Okay? It's not that, all guys are bad and marriage is bad. And it's not that. It's who you pick. There's some people in marriage and they're in bliss. They're happy. And they're getting everything they could ever hope for. They're happy. You want to know why? Not because of the people, because they picked the right person. Not because they are just so great and wonderful. It's because they picked the right person. You just got to pick the right person for you. That's the secret. And being patient with it. And protocol. That's the big secret right there. Picking the right person. You can be like, well, this person, he's boring. I don't like his personality. Okay, somebody else might like his personality. Okay? You guys don't match up well. Might work for someone else. Same thing with wives. Same thing. It doesn't matter. Being in subjection unto their own husband, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham. Nobody likes submission. Nobody likes obeyed or anything like that. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, women, you are the daughters of Sarah, as long as ye do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Then he addresses the husband. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So guys, you need to not deal treacherously with the wife of your youth. You should not deal treacherously her. You don't mistreat her. Okay? Because if you do mistreat her, don't bother praying to the Father, because your prayers are going to be hindered, because he's looking at how you're treating his daughter. He's looking at that. He's looking at, man, you You can't be smacking her around and talking to her crazy like that and stuff. No. And there's nothing wrong with a little correction here, a little guidance here. Sweetie, hey, we need to talk about that. It's not that. It's not that, oh, you can never be upset and you can't, put your house back in order when things go awry and all that stuff. Of course you need to do all that. But I'm just saying, unprovoked. You mistreating her, hitting her, beating her and all that. You can't do that. If you do, don't bother praying because he ain't listening to that. And you'll pay for that later anyway. Okay? You don't want to end up like a Nabal. You are a big idiot. And before long, you die. And then she's free from you. She's free from your tyranny. And she's going to go get herself a David or somebody else. So you can't be a big idiot. Okay? You can't mistreat her like that. Giving her honor as the weaker vessel. Okay? Ephesians chapter 5. We're talking about family conduct. Okay? This is about being married. All right? That's what we're talking about. We got to give the hard truth, hard facts. Because guess what? Wives, you have a role to play. Husbands, you have a role to play. Guess what? Both of you need to be doing your job if you want this thing to work. If you want it to work. It could be the most beautiful thing in the world if everybody's doing their job. Ephesians chapter 5. Let me pick it up at verse 22. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22 reads this way. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. So wives, you submit yourself just like you submit yourself to the Lord. Submit yourself to your husband the same way. Because remember the protocol. There's the father, there is the Messiah, there's the husband, and there's the wife, and there's the children. Okay. Now, women, where you are in that protocol, you got a couple of coverings. Okay. You got your husband as your cover, and you have the Messiah as your covering. And if you stay in line, then you have the Father as your covering, because the Messiah said, if you have me, you have the Father. If you have the Son, you have the Father too. That's you staying under your covering, staying in that protocol, and you're covered. There's times where sins don't even land on you, where they can land on your husband. As I said, the aforementioned vows. 23, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Okay, stand in order. Okay, stand in order. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husband in everything. Subject yourself like that. Then he started talking about the husbands. Husband, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Just like you're supposed to be nurturing your wife. Husbands, you should be nurturing your wife, teaching her about the word, teaching her, guiding her in the way, protecting her, washing her, nurturing her with the water by the word. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. Just like when Eve messed up, okay, and the Lord came in and he said, Adam, hey, what did you eat from the tree of good and evil? What happened? And what did he do? First thing he do, threw his wife under the bus. Oh, that woman you gave me, yeah, she took it, and I did eat. She gave it to me. Threw her on the bus, right? Now, she did do it, but that's your chance to stand out in front of it and say, you know what, Lord, yes, I did eat, and I should have stopped her. I should have stopped Eve from doing it. I failed in my duty. Why do you think he talked to the husband first? Because he's the head, and he's the first one the Most High is going to deal with. See, as a woman, you have an extra layer, an extra barrier of protection with your covering, which is your husband. Then it's Christ, then the Father. You have and that's why I say subject yourself to your husband just like you would to the Lord. Just like you would. And as a man, we're supposed to cover it, and we're supposed to give ourselves for her. That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that it should be holy and without blemish. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished and cherished it, even as the Lord of the church, the Lord the church. For we are members of his body and of his flesh and of his bones. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and shall be joined unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. This is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church, Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. Show a little bit respect. I'm telling you, all Paul's trying to do is put it in order so that you can be blessed. You think your marriage sucks. You think it's awful. Are you getting back in order so he can put it in? He don't want to be dealing with some messy house that you can't get it together. You can't get your act together. Some stuff can get fixed if you simply get your act together. And I'm talking to wives and husbands. Okay? This goes for all of us who are married. And even if you're single, you got a lot to learn here too. You can benefit from some of the information here as well if you're single. Okay? So guys, get your act in order. Get your house straight up. Go prepare. Get things ready to go. So when it's time for you to have a wife, when you do find one, you're ready. You're ready. Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3. And when you get to Colossians chapter 3, we're going to pick it up at verse 18. Colossians 3 and 18, which reads, Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them. Look at that. He charged the wives to submit. He charged the husbands to love. Wives, show some submission. Husbands, show some love. Don't be bitter against them. And that's the problem. That's how you get to divorce, because men got, very, very bitter against their wives and start treating them like trash. And so Moses went ahead and allowed them to give a bill of divorce. Okay, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Again, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as it is fit in the Lord, not my words. Husbands, love your wives and be not bitter against them. Okay, children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Again, not my words. Okay, this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Show some honor. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged. Again, don't just provoke your children to anger. We're not talking about just because they get mad because you bought the wrong breakfast cereal or anything like that. Nobody cares if they're mad about that, okay? We're talking about provoking them in a different way, in a much more serious manner. Don't provoke your kids to anger. Not talking about trivial things, okay? Because we're talking about family conduct. That's why we're bringing in the kids, fathers, mothers, all that stuff, servants, all that, okay? That's why we're talking about all of this. Servants, obey in all things your master according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing God. Because guess what he loves? He loves obedience. He loves reverence. He loves protocol. These are the things that he wants. You know why? He can bless those things because we're doing what he's asking us to do. He can bless those things. That's why he wants that. And whatsoever ye do it heartily as to the Lord and not unto men. Do it as if you're doing it to the Lord. That's your works. This is part of works, Faith without works is said, obeying what the scripture says. That's part of your works. There's some people who are out there living set apart, doing their thing, doing it as best they can as scriptures describe, as the Bible describes it. And they're just in bliss. They're happy. In a simple life, they're happy. And they're being blessed left and right. You want that, then you get in protocol. Take a look and inventory of family conduct. Some things going to be stripped away. Just to get down to the nitty gritty. Knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. That's verse 24. That's what we want to keep in mind. I want to get a couple of Proverbs here. Okay? I want to get a couple of Proverbs. I'm going to go Proverbs chapter 5 first. Proverbs chapter 5 first. And I want to get verse 5. Okay. And in this in this teaching, I'm not going to go to Proverbs 31 or anything like that, because everybody loves to run there. Okay. I like the, don't get me wrong, I like the book, I like the chapter, but not this time, not this lesson. Proverbs chapter 5, verse 18 says this: let thy fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Rejoice with the wife of thy youth. Let her be as the loving hind and pleasant roe. Let her breast satisfy thee at all times, and be thou ravished always with her love. Okay, so you get the right woman. If you do get that Proverbs 31 woman, then this is going to come to pass right here. This is what you want, brothers, because you don't want to have to go do the finding. But when you find, you must also vet. And women, when the dudes show up, you need to vet. Proverbs 12. Proverbs 12. I just want to get one verse. Proverbs 12, verse 4, which reads: a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh a shame is a rottenness in his bone. You killing me, Smalls. You got the wrong life. You killing me. You cut my life short. As a rottenness to his bones, getting feeble. He can't get nothing done. You know, you read the old Proverbs. You know, it's better to be outside on the rooftop than inside with a quarrelsome woman. You know, you're killing me. Don't be, all I'm saying, be a virtuous woman. I charge the men to be righteous men. I charge the women to be virtuous women. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? See, a lot of us were negatively geared. As soon as you say something, as soon as you say the job, you know the problem is, chances are, you know the problem is them. As soon as you say something, for example, if I charge men to be righteous men, okay, men, you need to do this. You need to provide, you need to protect, you need to nurture, you know, you need to be good. You need to love this woman, okay, and all that. And if his first response is, well, you know, she ain't doing this right, and she ain't doing that, and she ain't worth this and right. Okay, then chances are something wrong with them. Something is wrong. Something wrong with the dude. It's the first thing you have, that your defense for you not being righteous is the other person. It's something wrong with you. Something wrong with your picking the wife. There's something wrong. Something you're doing wrong. I want to get on the fellas first because they're the head. Now let me get on the women. If I say, okay, ladies, be a virtuous woman. Be a helpmeet. Be submissive. Assimilate to your husband. No, well, I don't know. He ain't worth that. I ain't gonna submit to no man. The problem is, what if he's like this and what if he's like that? You're thinking of all. That's with you. You're thinking of all the reasons why you shouldn't. Then when the dude shows up, you vet him. You make sure it's the kind of guy that you don't mind being a virtuous. You should be a virtuous woman anyway, period, married or not. Okay? But you don't mind submitting to this guy. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You say, let me check you out for a while. Let me see what's going on. And you ask those questions. Wait, what are your plans? What's your goal? What's your vision? Talk to me. What's happening? What kind of future do you see being married? You can ask him that. There's nothing wrong with that. And guess what? He should have an answer. He should have an answer. He should have some kind of vision. If he has a vision or something, hey, there shows some kind of leadership. He has a plan, something. It's okay that, how do you resolve conflict? What do you think about kids? How many kids do you want to have? And he said, well, yeah, when I get mad, man, I just put somebody's head through the wall when I get mad. Don't make me mad. Okay, then you might want to stay away from that guy. Okay, I understand people lie and all that, but then even when they say what they say, you give it a little bit of time so you can see. Let life happen a little while and see how he handles it. You have to vet people. Proverbs 12:4 said, a virtuous woman is a crown to her husband, but she that maketh ashamed is as rottenness in his bones. Proverbs 18 in verse 22. Proverbs 18. Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor of the Lord. This is Tanakh. Obtain favor. So if I have a good wife, the Bible says she's a good thing. Okay, this is a virtuous woman, obviously. She's a good thing, and I get favor from the Lord. Now, when I go out to go do the things that I need to do or whatever, I'm going to get blessed. I'm going to get favor. If I'm treating her right and I'm not being bitter towards her, I can pray to my Father and he will help me. My prayers are not hindered. He will help me. Lord, what should we do? Where do you want me to take my family? What do you want me to do next? And he'll give me an answer. Talk to your wife. Sweetheart, we need an answer from the Lord. Next Wednesday, we're going to fast and pray. Sun up, sun down. We want to hear from the Lord what our next move should be. Or how do we handle this situation that we're in right now? Now my prayers are not hindered and I can get favor from the Lord. A lot of us are not using our resources. But like I said, the concept of preparing, guys, you need to be ready. You're too anxious. Oh, I want a wife. You know, some of them, oh, I want a third, fourth, fifth wife or whatever, but you're not even preparing yourself. You're not doing anything. This idea of being prepared, that's biblical. Let's go over to John 14. Watch this. Let's go to John 14. Let's pick it up at verse 1. John 14, verse 1. It says, "Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me." That's John 14, verse 1. Verse 2. "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto me, that where I am, there ye may be also." I go to prepare a place. I'm going to go make ready so I can receive you. Same thing for you guys out there. You go get yourself ready. Go get ready. So when you have a wife, so when she asks you the question, says she should be asking you, or the father, if you want to be proper. If the father asks you something, you can answer those questions. Be prepared. Get ready. So that you can have somewhere to bring your wife. Well, I don't have a job yet, and I don't know what I'm going to... Okay, then why are you trying to get a wife right now? What are you doing? So you can starve together? What are you doing? Exodus 23. Preparing is a biblical concept. Get prepared. Okay? Preparing. Exodus 23 and 20. What did the Lord say? He said, "Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have" what? Prepared. Prepared. We're not done. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 16. "But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared for them a city." Getting ready to receive someone. Getting prepared. Get ready to receive your bride. Get prepared. That's, men, our job. Get prepared. Okay? Women, I'll get to you in a minute. Revelation 12 and verse 6. One more on being prepared. Revelation 12 verse 6. And it says, "And the woman fled into the wilderness," this is the bride, "where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days." Okay, prepared, being prepared, be prepared. You want a wife? Be prepared. Women, what's your job? Be ready. That's your job. You be ready. Be virtuous. Be ready for when he come a knocking. And the first guy that come knocking on your door, the first guy who shows interest in you, doesn't mean that is your husband. It could be, but you won't know until you vet him. Ask some important questions. Don't get caught up in the whole romance of it all, because I'm gonna tell you, romance is just a feeling. Okay, you feel a certain way. So when the bubblies, when the warm and fuzzies wear out, okay, when they kind of go away a little bit, then that's where the marriage really happens. How are we gonna function day to day? Your job is to be ready. You're in Revelation. Go to chapter 19. Revelation 19, verse 7. Revelation 19 and 7 says this: "Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him. For the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife has made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. It's the righteousness of saints. Okay, so she should be ready. Make herself ready, just like the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 of them were ready, and the other 5 were not ready. And who was in trouble? The 5 who were not ready. That's your job, sisters. Verse 9, and he said unto me, Write, blessed are they which are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said unto them, These are the true sayings of God. Okay, so I'm sorry. You got to get ready. Brothers, you got to be prepared. Get prepared. And women, you got to be ready. So when that dude shows up, when the right dude shows up, when Boaz shows up, you'll be Ruth. Be ready. Let's go to our last couple of places here before we start wrapping it up. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, because we're dealing with marriage and those components. I already told you. Witness, agreement, consummation. We're going to go to the other part. We're going to see the opposite here in a minute. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 says this. Now concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. So that's be single. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife has not power over her own body, but the husband. And likewise also, the husband has not power over his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer. I mentioned that earlier, to fasting and prayer, and come together again, that Satan tempt ye not for your incontinency. Okay, so for a while you say, okay, we're not gonna, deal with each other. We're not gonna sleep with each other for a while or whatever. But you both agree because we're gonna abstain with prayer and fasting. Tongue tied again. Prayer with and fasting. Okay, and then you come together. He said, now, in the next one he said, but I speak this by permission and not by commandment. Now this is his opinion. So in my opinion, all right, and then we go to verse 7. For I would that all men were even as myself, meaning single. But every man has his proper gift of God, one after this manner and another after this. Well, hey, some people, we all got a different job. We all got a different function. Okay, it's meant for me to be single. It may not be meant for you to be single. Okay, basically what he's saying. I say, therefore, to the unmarried and widows, the single people and the widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I, meaning be single. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn, or to burn with lust. Okay, and then now you're running out committing fornication. So if you have those urges, then go get married. Okay, then go get married. And unto the married I command. So this is my opinion right here. And unto the married I command, yet not. Oh no, this is command. I'm sorry. I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Okay, so he's saying this is from the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband. Don't let the wife depart from her husband. Now he's saying this is from the Lord, not from himself. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. Okay, so he's saying, woman, you leave, be separate, you stay single, or you go back to your husband. Now, if you're separated, that's probably a good time to work out your differences and figure some things out, and then come back together. Okay, and you know why? And let the husband not divorce her and all that other stuff is because he wants her to be taken care of. It's the problem. We have this sick Western mindset that thinks that the Lord don't want to protect women. Then you're not reading the scriptures correctly. And let not the husband put away his wife. Stop taking. He doesn't want that. But we do what we want to do anyway. But to the rest, I, not the Lord. Now, this is his opinion. If any brother has a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. Now, this is just his opinion. And a woman which has a husband that believe not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified or set apart by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy. Okay, Now they're holy. Y'all together, y'all worked it out, y'all holy. But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. Okay? A brother or a sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God has called us to peace. So if you have someone who's unbelieving, don't want to assimilate, don't want to work with you, and they just want to leave, you let them leave. You say, okay, you can go. Because you're not under bondage. I'm not under bondage. You're not under bondage. If they want to leave, you let them leave. Doesn't mean that you necessarily did something wrong with them, because it's just said believing, unbelieving, or whatever. They don't believe in the plan no more. They don't believe in this submission no more. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in His protocol. They believe, you misinterpreting what the Scripture says, and I don't know. I'm gonna do my own thing or whatever. Guess what? Let them leave. No, grow a spine, and let them leave. Doesn't mean it's not going to hurt. Doesn't mean you might not shed a tear. You might do all that. Let them leave. For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband, or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife? Because you know what? If they please to dwell with you and all that, okay, fine. Your walk might turn them back around. If they turn around, great. If not, okay, oh well. Now let's look at the three components of a divorce so we can go ahead and close out and get out of here. Now, one thing I want to point out is that even the Most High gave a bill of divorce. So if you're done with someone, you're doing them an injustice if you don't give them the bill of divorce. With a cause, of course. The three components of divorce is the divorce, the witness, and the transgression, well, the bill of divorce, and the transgression that caused it in the first place. Witness, the bill of divorce, and the transgression that caused divorce, or that warrants the divorce in the first place. Bill of divorce, Jeremiah 3 and verse 8. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 8, which says, and I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, there's your cause for divorce, I had to put her away. And then he did what? Two different things. And given her a bill of divorce. Adultery, the transgression, okay? All right? That's the cause right there. That's the transgression. And put her away, okay, and give her a bill of divorce. And it's a witness. All of Israel is the witness. Everybody knows all of Israel sinned. There's your witness right there. Okay, we all know. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. So Judah already knew that the other 10 tribes, they knew they were committing adultery against the Father, against the Most High. They knew that, and they did the same thing. So there's your witness right there. Okay? Now, another witness, you go to Daniel 9. Go to Daniel chapter 9. Another witness. Daniel 9, it says, in verse 9, it says, to the Lord our God belong mercies and forgiveness. Though we have rebelled against him, there's your transgression. Neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord our God to walk in his ways, which he set before us by his servants the prophets. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by the parting, your transgression, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curses is upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. We have another witness where Daniel straight up said, we transgressed, we sinned, we committed adultery, we did not obey, we broke the covenant. He's basically saying all that. Okay? Now, let's look at something else here real quick. Okay? All components have to be there, because you can be married, okay? You can be married, have not even, you know what? I won't even go there. Let's just go to bill of divorce here, okay? Let's do this. John chapter 4. Okay? John chapter 4. Got to have that bill of divorce. John chapter 4. All right. John chapter 4 says this in verse 16. Jesus said unto her, go, call thy husband and come hither. Now, he's talking about the Samaritan woman. All right? And the woman answered and said, I have no husband. Jesus said unto her, thou hast well said, I have no husband. Why? Because thou hast had 5 husbands, and whom thou now hast is not thy husband. in that sayest thou truly. So you said correctly you don't have a husband, because you had 5 husbands, and the dude you're living with right now, he's not your husband either. Why? Because your real husband is alive and have not given you a bill of divorce. We can expound on that later. I have not given you a bill of divorce. Our last place, so we can get on out of here. Okay? Got to have all the witness, the transgression, and the bill of divorce. I gave you the 3 components of marriage. Now you got the 3 components of divorce. All these things need to be in order. Okay? John chapter 8. John chapter 8 verse 1. This is our last spot. Jesus went unto the Mount of Olives. And early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him. And he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery, in the very act. In the very act of them having the transgression. Okay, so they got a witness that she did it, and then you got the offense, which is the adultery, right? Now, Moses in the law commands us that such should be stoned. But what say thou? This they said, tempting him. They're trying to trick him, that they might have to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground. And though he heard them not, as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. Now notice, he didn't say, no, we can't do that no more. He didn't say that. He said, if you don't have any sin, throw a stone at her. Now we both know that Christ could have threw a stone at her, but he didn't. And again, he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Jesus had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Has no man condemned thee? And she said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go, and what? Sin no more. So there is forgiveness right there, okay? There's some forgiveness right there. However, whoever her husband is, he can give her a certificate of divorce. He's perfectly within his right to give her a certificate of divorce. But you guys know, if you've been reading the Bible, you already know they didn't even do the law. They want to bring up the laws of Moses, but they don't even want to do it the correct way. Because technically, she and the dude who committed adultery is supposed to be standing there about to get stoned. That means she's married, and this dude that she slept with is not her husband. That's what that means. So where's this dude who's not her husband? Where is he? If you're going to do it, you do it right. You do it all the way. There was no automatic divorce. You got brothers who say, she went out, committed adultery, or we're divorced. No, you need to give her that bill, and then you will be. All 3 components. All 3 components. If you want to do it, let's do it the right way. Let's do it the way Scripture is telling us to do it. It's that simple. All right. Now this has been family conduct. The 3 components of marriage, the 3 components of divorce. I hope someone has been edified in this lesson. So until next time, search the Scriptures and prove all things. Shalom, Israel.